If there's like one metric that define the success of that bike that like I look at every day, it has to be like performance versus price ratio.
Hi, I'm Me, leading Jungle's investment in South Asia, and I'm here today with Son, the CEO and founder of Dat Bike, a Vietnamese startup that has ambition to become the leading electric motorbike company in South Asia. We invested in Dat Bike last year, around 1 year ago, and during the time we invested, it had only one model named Weaver. And the company has been growing very fast in the past 1 year, and it just recently launched the second model named Weaver 200. The vehicle has 200 kilometers in range and will be fully charged within only 3 hours. So coming to your business and electric vehicles, why do you think that we are hearing so much about EV today? Even in emerging countries like Vietnam, people started to have awareness and talk about EV.
I personally believe that if there are two options, right? One is electric and one is gasoline, the two are the same in like every aspect, then people would just pick electric because it's just better for the environment. The problem right now is that a lot of people, a lot of the products out there, they just like they're not the same, right? So they don't solve, they can't solve the problem that gas bikes are like solving. And this applies to like cars or like even like airplanes, like buses, like as well, right? And I think recently technology has become good enough for people to start making the switch. Obviously, in the West, you see there are a lot of car companies like Tesla. They're like pushing really hard for the front line of the technology.
But you are up against large established giants like Vinfast or some traditional motorbike makers such as Honda or Kimco or Yamaha. They are building their own EV as well. Given those players, they have a lot of capital, very strong brand position and presence in the market, and also a great distribution network across the countries. Why do you think that you can win?
A backstory is that when I started learning about electric bikes and working on electric bikes, these people haven't announced their intention to go into electric yet, right? And that's like a real story. But then I feel like up until this point, no one has really solved the electric conversion problem in South Asia, and it's really there's like the good thing is that there are more people jumping into this market, and this sort of like a validation that we are doing something right, and this actually is the future. It's sort of like very frustrating that this is like the future, so let's just like focus on that, put all resources into it and solve it, because the hardest problem that we are that with electric is that how to make a powerful high performance electric that is also like as affordable as like gasoline alternative, right? Dat Bike is like the only player that is focusing on this problem. Does that make sense? Because other people may focus on like design, they focus on like distribution strategy. They may focus on making it like the cheapest bike out there possible, which is all like the wrong things to focus on right now, because the hardest problem is still there, and you see it in like the car market, and now you see it is the the motorbike market, which is like how to make high performance electric, at least as high performance as like a gas bike, but it's also like affordable. And the key thing here is like performance versus price ratio. Very small player, but we have like the best performance versus ratio metric in the industry right now, not just in Vietnam, but also in Southeast Asia.
And you start from zero, and you are aspiring to build a global, premium, very strong brand product in the market. Can you share a little bit of your thinking about growth, brand, and expansion?
We don't want to be just like in Vietnam. We want to be at least like the whole Southeast Asia, and eventually I want to talk about very long term. Thinking first is that I don't think cars will work, in the very long term. Because I've lived in the U.S., I live in California, And the problem is like even if you make like like roads bigger, people would just buy more cars and like bigger cars, right? The city become more like expanded, right? But people you're always gonna have like traffic jams, very space inefficient, because people are using like very space inefficient cars. And I believe that in the very far future, transportation will become like personal transportation will become public transportation. For longer distance travel and for last mile, you need your personal lightweight like electric vehicles, right? Maybe it's not just like two-wheeler motorbikes, but also like kick scooters and all that you see right now. And that's where Dat Bike want to be. Dat Bike want to be like like the last mile personal vehicles for everybody. So now short term, we want to really, so even though right now we want to solve this performance versus price ratio problem, because we think it's like the hardest problem is electric. The rest of the bike, like how it looks, like distribution, all of that people have figured out probably like 50 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, right? After we have like a very strong position in the performance versus price ratio problem, then we would like start expanding to like if you want a bike, right? I make you a bike. If my mom if she want a bike to go get grocery, I make her like a bike like that. As long as I solve like the core problem of the electric. So this is what I imagine that bike is going to be.
Partner with you in this journey.
Okay.
And over the long term, what do you think will be the key level of success as you scale and grow?
If there's like one metric that define the success of that bike that like I look at every day, it has to be like performance versus price ratio. And then like I believe that the rest of the good metrics like would come. If we and right now we are like leading in that department. So that's great for me. Yeah.